Elevation Radio.
Oh, yeah. All right, God bless you. This is Elevation Radio 1, and I'm your host, Pastor Steve, the Music Man Turner. And we thank you for taking the journey with us. This is the program that spotlights positive people doing positive work while serving a positive God whose name is Jesus, and we have nothing to be ashamed of about that. And so that's how we roll here. All right. And listen, before we get started, our sponsors today are God. That's what I just said. G-O-D, baby. God and Heaven on Earth, which is called Paris by A7, a gospel men's here in Righteoustown Plaza. Shout out to Jeff and the Black Marilyn Monroe, all those great people over there. They treat the Music Man like a king, and the Queen like a queen. And they'll do the same for you. If you go over there, just tell them that I sent you, and you'll get some type of discount. And talk to Jeff, the owner, and go from there. Listen, our subject today is retrain the brain. Oh, say it with me. Retrain the brain. How can we overcome toxic relationships? How can we overcome toxic relationships? Oh, my God, I tell you. The most recent presidential debate demonstrated the elements of toxicity. In biblical times, it was called vexation. Vexation is above normal annoyance and general aggravation. It is the filet mignon of personal. The layers off, it means that Satan himself has assigned you a personal demon to hinder, block, and abort your spiritual, financial, personal, and emotional growth in God and in the earth. Know anyone like this? Can be a family member. Could be, oh my goodness, could be your pastor. Could be an elected official. Lord have mercy. Today we will hear the incredible testimony from Baltimore's hardest working woman in entrepreneur, the fast rising urban media mogul, I said it, and media partner of worldwide FLAVA Network. Do you have the flavor? And we're talking about none other than the illustrious Dr. Charlene Lady J. Jenkins. Clap your hands, everybody. Clap your hands. Listen, before we get to this media queen, we have to go to our queen here, the residential queen, the most beautiful part of this program. That is the lovely, the beautiful, the effervescent, and that is Lady Leora. Is she on the line? Oh, my goodness. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, second. Okay, there she is, the queen.
Yes.
My queen.
Where?
Verse to rehearse coming from?
Yeah. Ecclesiastics. Chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, verse 9 to 12.
Okay, well, read quickly.
Okay. It reads, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he has not another to help him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. Threefold cord is not quickly broken.
All right. Well, thank you. God bless you. Listen, the Bible has a perfect relationship formula. Two are better than one. It says one will chase 1,000, and two will chase 10,000. And that's wonderful. But what if the person you're with is toxic? OMG. And for that, we must go to a resident expert, none other than the illustrious Baltimore's next icon, Lady E.J. Dr. Charlene Jenkins, how are you?
I'm doing great, Pastor Steve and First Lady Lee Aura. I like the way you said that. First Lady. The Queen.
Queen. The Queen. Yes. All hail the Queen.
Yes. Amen.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself. Who is Lady J?
Well, first of all, just want to thank God for being able to see another day, because that's truly a blessing, and being able to speak and be on the show. But whenever anybody asks me that, what I normally tell them is that I'm a servant and a woman of God, and I am definitely a survivor and a warrior. That's my bio. That's my bio.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Let's see here. Let's go into this a little deeper. We're going to help somebody today. It says toxic is being poisonous or very harmful. But then the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is the method of delivery? Which is important. A venomous bite or sting is to inject. That's how they inject their poison. Some biting words, stinging comments. The organisms that unload toxins when you eat them are actually considered to be very poisonous. So the question is, what is the method of delivery of the toxin that you're dealing with? How is it delivered to you? And then the effects of toxicity, it will normally make you sick, causing death or serious debilitation. And that's important to know. It says also here that it also it substantially lowers your worth, the loss of value, which is the goal of the person who is the deliverer of the toxin.
Right.
Do you find that any truth to what's being said there?
All true. They all get check marks. It's all true, and I think that what happens a lot of times is that when you are dealing with someone, it could be male or female, because either one could be the person that's putting out the toxicity. But in my case, I was actually married for 27 years, and I met my ex when I was 16. I was with him for about 34, 35 years, pretty much most of my life, my adult life. And he was toxic even when we were dating, but I didn't see it. And I got married when I was 22. So, being young, I was still in college. At that point, I started working 2 and 3 jobs to pay, to go through college and be married. But he was he was mentally abusive. And he was like borderline verbally abusive. He had ways of being verbally abusive. And, when you continue to be in it for a long period of time, it becomes a norm for you. And you somehow, you take it all in, and you just go on with life until it just continues to build and build where you can't take it anymore. And a lot of times you make excuses for that person. He's having a bad day. Oh, maybe I didn't do something right, because you always feel like you're the bad person. If you only could have done this, or if you only could have done that, maybe he wouldn't have been this way. So I went through all of that, and the relationship just continued to go downhill. I mean, spiral downhill. And it got to the point of me being where I was clinically diagnosed as being clinically depressed. And the doctor at the time, and I was diagnosed, I think it was 2006. And at the time, the doctor was saying to me, you have 2 decisions to make. You can either go to therapy and let the therapist help you, and you can find one on your own, or I can admit you to Shepherd Pratt. And so I decided, I always told everybody, I did like they do in Jeopardy, like, I will take I would take myself, okay? I'll take the latter one. And so, you know, I actually, I was blessed because the first therapist I found, actually someone referred her to me. This woman was absolutely amazing. And the first thing to me was, you're a very strong woman. I'm not going to give you any medication. And you are going to get through this on your own. You're going to work through this. And I grew a lot with her, but I was still in the relationship. And off and on, like 3 different times, I tried to commit suicide. And it had just gotten to that point where I felt like I didn't really want to be here anymore. And I would actually sit and think of ways to make sure that somebody would pick my son up from school, you know, writing letters to my family, and it's just all kinds of stuff. And the very last time I did it, I took a bunch of pills, and I had mixed the pills. I took them, and I went to sleep that night. I went to sleep because I just knew that I wasn't going to wake up in the morning. And I remember waking up, and the sun was so bright coming through my window, and I got so angry at God. I was just mad at him because I was just like, why did you wake me up today? Why did you wake me up? And, you know, with all that I took, sleeping pills, Tylenol, and some other kind of stuff I had mixed up, woke up the next day, and I was just really tired, really sluggish, didn't feel sick, didn't feel anything, ended up going to work, but I was so angry with God because I was like, I can't even kill myself, you know. I can't even get out of this.
Oh, mercy. You're helping somebody.
You know, yeah, so, you know, it was tumultuous. It was a really tumultuous relationship, and so the depression didn't go away because I was still in the situation. And so even though I was going to therapy, I couldn't really practice what I was learning because he was so manipulative that he knew how to break me. Anytime he saw me getting stronger, he knew how to break me. And it was just a lot of things that I tell people, there's a lot of things that I dealt with in my relationship, in my marriage, that I probably will never talk about because it's just some things that were so bad that it's not something that I really want to discuss. And I will take it to my grave. But then in 2008, that was the final straw for me. 2008, I had a heart attack. I was actually singing at church, on the praise team, and we were singing like the closing song, and everybody's going out the door. And I just remembered I just wanted to go home and go to bed. So I'm walking out the door, and one of the guys in the sound booth, he ran over and grabbed me. And he told me the reason he grabbed me is because he saw that the back of my dress was wet. And so he grabbed me, and I just remember passing out. And the next time when I woke up, I was at Good Samaritan Hospital. And my mom was there. And they were telling my mom that I had a heart attack. And that's when I decided that, you know, when I was in the hospital for those week or whatever it was, I just decided I'm not going back. Like, I'm not going back to the house. He can have the house. I wasn't mentally able or stable to really take my son with me. So my son didn't really understand what was going on. I wasn't eating. I was pretty much starving myself. So I knew that I wasn't capable of taking care of my son at that point. So I left my son at the house. And when I got out of Good Sam, I had my sister take me to Glen Burnie, and I found an apartment, and I moved into that apartment with no furniture, no nothing. My friends thought I was crazy, but they all, you know, got together. They fixed up my apartment, donated furniture and stuff. But that's how I started over, and I left in 2008. And he continued to harass me as much as he could. even after I was gone. So I was still suffering with being depressed, and just you know how they have functioning alcoholics. I was a person that could just function being depressed, and so I could be around you, laughing, joking, and you think, "Oh wow, she's the greatest person." And it was so many times I would sing at church, and I would do the praise team, and I would do solos, and then I would get in my car and drive home crying because I didn't want to go home. So I spent a lot of years just during that period of being separated, asking for a divorce, and he didn't want a divorce. So I left in 2008, but I had to work 4 years to save up enough money to get a divorce because my son was in private school and I wasn't taking him out of private school. I was working 3 jobs, and, I just was like, I'm going to work until I pay this attorney so I can get this divorce. So 4 years I worked. My son now, 24, and he'll tease me now. He's just like, Mom, I know you're never going back into slavery, are you?
Hold on a second. Good God, woo! I tell you, I don't know what to say. I tell you this. Let me say this: God is good, and that the power of determination of the mind, retrain the brain, and the power and strength of strong black women. Good God Almighty! I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a strong black woman. So much so it caused someone to call on the line. We have a caller at 2324. Who's on the line? Elevation Radio 1.
Yes, good afternoon. This is
Lord have mercy. Good God Almighty. Wait a minute, hold a second. It is. First of all, I'm not going to say it. Would you introduce yourself, sir?
This is Leroy McKenzie Jr. Good afternoon.
No, sir. Professor Leroy McKenzie Jr., the JR. Oh, my goodness.
I heard this phenomenal woman is going to be on your show, this afternoon. So.
Well, I thank you for gracing us with your illustrious economic presence.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. So, do you have a question to ask her, sir, young fellow?
Well, let me ask you this, Lady J. What do you attribute your ability? Because I didn't know all of this. Your ability to be able to make it through all of that. I mean, because that's a lot, and that would have taken out a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think was about you that made you persevere through that?
I think I would say it was my son, because after a while I realized that if I die, I'm gonna leave my son here with this man, And there were a lot of unanswered questions, and the one thing I did not do, which even my family would get mad at me, because the one thing I never allowed anybody to do was talk about my ex in front of my son. That was a no-no. You didn't do that. And I didn't talk about him. I didn't put him down. And so I left home when when my son was 12 years old. And if you think about from 12 to 21 years old was when I finally sat down and had a conversation with my son about everything that had happened. And because I did not talk about my ex and I didn't say negative things about him, he would say it about me. And so I went through a back and forth with my son, because at one point my son didn't want to stay with me. But I just kept saying, when I tried to take my life and I could not, that was another eye-opener, that God was showing me that it's not time for you to go. And even though I could never see any light at the end of the tunnel, I just felt like, okay, I got to keep fighting and I have to do what I have to do. But it was a very lonely journey because with me keeping my mouth closed and not saying anything, I heard about things that I was doing that I didn't even know about. You know, she's doing this, she's doing that. He looked like Mr. Nice Guy. My family and I were going at it. And, you know, I just felt like one day God is going to vindicate me and I'm going to be able to speak up. But I needed to show my son something different. Like I tell my son now, we're very tight. But, you know, now that he understands what happened, but I spent a lot of nights crying because I didn't have my son with me. He was with his dad. And he didn't want to live with me because of the things that his dad was saying. So, but that was the thing that kept me focused, was that I knew that one day I would be able to sit down and have a conversation with my son. And I was not leaving my son here. You know, I wasn't leaving him here to be with my ex, and I'm in the ground. And we never had a conversation.
It's a very, very... You're a strong, godly woman. And
God is my rock.
You did some stuff to here that I heard that doesn't happen in most cases, because most of the time, I don't know if Dr. McKenzie will verify this, but most of the time, when a black woman is upset with a black man, in most cases, she runs him down to his children. And I've seen it. I've heard it. You can pull it up on Facebook any day. 942055353. If you're a black man that has had that experience, and I've seen the opposite as well. It's just terrible. There are 9 signs that you're in a toxic relationship, and I won't read all 9 of them, but you see if you since I'm talking to an expert. I will see if I can. You can say check if it's right. You start. The first sign is you start walking on eggshells. You're afraid to share your opinions because you're afraid of the emotional backlash. Let's see here. You get sick around your partner. You start having ulcers, start passing out, start vomiting. These things. You're always fighting, and most of that is due to poor communication. I just want to take a pause here. My wife sometimes hits me, like she hit me yesterday while I was sitting on the sofa. But I'm just saying that when men get beat up, we usually can't report that. But let me go back here, get back to the show. There's drama all the time, screaming and hollering, and police are called constantly, and so I've talked to a few police officers. Even they get tired of coming back to the same house over and over again, and so and that's usually done because of poor communication, and that's usually leading to divorce. Normally, you can't stay together like that. Right. The partner wants you all to themselves. I don't want you to go anywhere. I don't want you to be with your family. I want to take away all your support. I want to isolate you because I want you all to myself. And here's a part I know that Dr. McKenzie didn't know about, called keeping the scorecard, the relationship scorecard. Keeping a record of past wrongdoings to justify your current righteousness. I want to stop right there. Let me see here. Do you have any examples? Anybody can talk.
Well,
Dr. McKenzie,
this is what I was going to say. For me, I never called the police. First of all, my dad is he's a retired pastor now. So anybody who knows the life of being a pastor's wife, a pastor's child, that's a totally different. Now you're in a whole nother ballpark. And so me being the firstborn and being the pastor's daughter, it was a lot of pressure on me for people who knew what I was going through. And that's why I'm so hard on church people to this day, and I don't bite my tongue. because a lot of those church people, including family members, told me to stay in that relationship. Stay. You're going to go to hell. You need to work with him. You're stronger than him. And it went on and on and on, and it never should have gone on that long. But I was listening to other people, and in listening to them, I hurt myself. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. I'm a talker. But my ex would he would keep coming at me and saying stuff and doing stuff until I would just yell and scream at him. And once I would start yelling and screaming and fussing at him, he was good. He'd go back and sit down. But he would just keep going and going. Yeah, he keep going and going and going. And as far as I've always been like this social butterfly, but what he started doing was killing the support that I had by telling them different lies, different stories, different stuff. And you start seeing people taking sides, especially when the separation happened. That's when I found out who was with me and who wasn't with me, including family. And so it was when I tell you it was a really dark 8, 9, 10 years of my life, very dark time. And I ain't talking about like 20 years ago. I'm talking about this went on from 2008 up until this is 2020. It went up until about, I want to say 2019, where I was still dealing with this man and his mess. And he had just gotten so many people involved in it, and I had just gotten tired. And so I would start answering this person back and answering that person back. And it just went on and on and on. But, a person like that, you can't win. You're not going to win with that person. And the only thing that I tell people to do now is to, try to get some help. And if that person is not willing to change, then you're going to have to make some decisions, because it's going to kill you if you don't. The toxicity is terrible. You know?
It's almost like a emotional snake bite.
Oh, yeah.
You only got a little, you start swelling up, and pretty soon become immobilized, and pretty soon you're dead.
It drains the life out of you.
Wow. There's one more sign of toxicity. It's called stonewalling. And you hear that a lot of times, which makes you wonder, that it applies to Republicans and Democrats when they're arguing over something in Washington, and they don't agree with it, so they do what's called stonewalling. They don't talk about things. So this is where your partner refuses to talk about major issues, like maybe somebody wants to have a child. I don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
Or you, we should move from here and then get into a home. I don't want to talk about it. As a matter of fact, I've seen this demonstrated on a show that my wife likes to watch, which she forces me to watch, which is called 90 Day Fiance. And I've seen some.
I love that show.
I've seen some incredibly, well, first of all, some incredibly crazy people and some incredibly stupid people, and some incredibly immature people, which I find to be, because you never know where it's coming from, who's going to be immature.
Right.
I've seen a lot of folks slam doors, don't want to talk about stuff, and go in the room, start crying. Let's pause for a second. Dr. McKenzie, have you had this kind of experience?
Have I had this kind of what?
Experience.
I'm glad to say I haven't experienced it. Now I know a couple of people who have experienced it and have talked about their story, similar to Lady J's, and to hear them and to see them on this side, that other side of getting through that is nothing more than phenomenal. to see how they've endured, what they've endured, and to look nothing like what they've been through, which is what she does. She looks nothing like what she's been through. You see her, and you would not even think that she just said it. Anything that she just said, you'd be like, no, that woman right there did not go through any of that.
You got that right.
She's not telling the truth.
You got that right. Because unless she had talked to me about it yesterday, and I didn't know anything about this, and then what she's talking about today. When I first met her, or heard of her, I saw her coming into a high rolling political scene, and they parted the war for her like she was Lady Jane. I was like, okay.
And Pastor Steve is so crazy, because when I go to places now, and I was telling my son that, I was like, it's so crazy. I walk into the room and I'm trying to, I'm shocked, because when they be like, Lady Jane's here, Lady, and people taking pictures, and they, and I'm just like, I'm so shocked. Like, it everywhere that I go, they're like, oh, you're that lady on, and I'm thinking nobody's watching me, nobody's really, but people, and this is what God does. And this is why I always tell people when they say, oh, wow, you're so great. I always say, I give glory to God. I give all praises to the Creator. It's not anything that I have done, but I feel like when God says that He is going to restore, that He restores you, and nobody can restore you like He can. And so where I am now is only because of the grace of God. It's only because of Him. The people that He has me shaking hands with and talking to, sometimes I come home and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, my son will tell you, I'll be in the car talking his ears off, like, Eric, you're not going to believe this. And I'm just like, when I think about it, I'm just like, I feel like God has repaid me. God has restored me, because I never gave up. I continued to trust Him even when I had nobody. And even the times when I was crying, the time when my ex took my house away from me, and in the midst of me trying to move out of the house, the roof caved in. I lost all of my clothes, my shoes, and this was like 3 years ago, and just all of the stuff that I have gone through, and I feel like God is saying, you know what? Yep, you continue to walk, you continue to hold my hand, you continue to lift me up, so here. And when I tell you last year and this year have been the year of blessings, it's been unbelievable. And I just really thank God.
Well, let me ask you this question, and there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, we all should thank Him. Matter of fact, if you want to thank God, you need to call in at 1-914-205-5353. We'll allow you to have space to thank God if you like this testimony. If you have a testimony, you can call in at 1-914-205-5353. You heard what I said. Maybe I need to get the Queen to say it. Queen, can you say it?
I'm here.
Yeah, tell them to call in, Queen.
Yes, please call in at 1-914-205-5353. Again, that number is 1-914-205-5353. Please call in. We would love to hear your opinion.
The Queen has spoken. So we thank you. Okay, and let's see here. Now that I have the illustrious Dr. Professor Leroy Kinsey, Jr., let's see here. Now, worldwide flavor, what is that about?
Okay, so let me tell you how that came about, because this is new for me as it is for you. Last year, and even before I get there, I got to say this, because I shared this with you, Pastor Steve, that in 2015 I had a massive stroke. And I did finally get divorced. I did finally get my walking papers in 2013 after all of that. But then in 2015, I had a massive stroke because the doctor said I had been holding so much in and not sharing, not talking about it, that it just had to come out somewhere, and it came out in the form of a stroke while I was driving on the Beltway on 295 in Greenbelt. And God is so good because I couldn't figure out how to get to Baltimore. And I kept going around that, you know how you go around the ramp? I went around the ramp like 3 or 4 times. And I remember calling my mother, and I was telling her I didn't know where I was at. And then I think somehow we got disconnected. But I ended up following a hospital sign. The hospital sign took me to Laurel Hospital. And when I walked in, they realized that I was having a stroke. And by the time they got me onto that bed, and they said, lift your leg up, I couldn't lift up my leg. I couldn't lift up my arms. They were telling me, you know, to call, who do you want to call? But I had a lock on my phone, and I had forgotten how to use the phone. So I don't know how they got into my phone to call someone, but finally the next day someone was notified. But they transferred me from Laurel Hospital to Washington Adventist Hospital in Tacoma Park. Now, I live in Baltimore. So I spent a month and a half in that hospital. Learning how to, I had to learn how to use my phone. It took me years to, probably this year, to be honest with you, this year is the first year I learned how to, again, use the computer. I couldn't comprehend anything. I couldn't speak, couldn't stand up by myself. So it's been a journey, and that was in 2015, and then my ex continued to harass me, so I had another another stroke in 2016. Then I had another stroke in 2017. And so each time, 3 times I had to learn how to walk and talk again. And my dad was always like walking beside me, holding me up like a little child, like you teaching a child how to walk. So each time, you know, I spent time in the hospital, and then I would have to start my rehab all over again. Speech, physical, occupational therapy. Like, I know all of them, you know. Not being able to stand up when they put me on a treadmill, I used to have to stand inside of a bag because I couldn't stand up by myself. But the treadmill, the bag on the treadmill, once you start walking, it blows up. So it's like you're in a big balloon, so you can't fall over anything, and that helped me to strengthen my legs.
I have never heard anything like this in my life. Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So
I don't know if I can take it. Hold on a second. I don't know if I can take it anymore. Hold on. We're gonna go. Good God Almighty. Hold up. We got callers. They're calling in all over from left field, right field. Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. Now, caller with 9907. You are on Elevation Radio 1. Sorry for the hold. How can we help? Caller, that's 443, ends in 9907.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I was so busy listening to Lady J. I am a host on her show as well, but listening to her story.
Wow. And you didn't know that, huh? Good God, man.
She just inspired me so much, meeting her. And I went through tragic myself in my life with 2 strokes, brain cancer, working, got into a terrible relationship, abusive marriage, and now I'm fighting for my husband, who I had to go through so much to get this one great man who has been framed of false conviction by a detective that I'm now has been fighting by his side for 19 years. He's been convicted for 45 years.
Really?
And I've been on Lady J show for, I want to say now, a month now. I've been on Lady J show to put it out there.
Yeah. Hey, Van.
Hey, Lady J. I love Lady J. Yes, I do love Lady J.
Oh, man, I love you, too. Yeah. Yeah, her story is tragic.
Okay.
It's a tragic story.
It was so funny. When she texted me, I was out looking at houses. I'm yelling and screaming. My landlord said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Just pull over." And I just had to pull over, and she is in the store. I'm sitting in her car. I'm talking. I couldn't miss this for nothing in the world. Every time Lady J calls me, I'm stopping in my tracks, and I'm getting on her line on the radio, I'm just, because I want, she inspires me so much. And she said I inspire her. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
This is fantastic. What's your name again?
Yes.
That's amazing.
What's your name?
Yeah, so I've been by his. Well, my name is Van, V-A-N. So my name is Van, and
you have a radio show. You said?
Say it again.
You have a radio show?
No, I don't. But I would love to be on yours. I'm on Lady J.
Okay.
I would love just say it, and I'll say the date. I'm there.
Oh my
Can you get the message out to Trump, and can you get the message out to the man, the governor? I am there.
We shall talk.
What color would you like me to wear? I am there. What color? What's your favorite color? I will wear.
Well, whatever color you're wearing today is how you stay there, because all we do is call on the line.
That's fine. I just put my army gear on. That's fine. Just let me suit up, put my army gear on. I'm fine. We can do Zoom.
Hey.
But yes.
All right. Well, we appreciate you.
Yes, it's just been a long journey for me, but I'm holding on. I don't know where I get this strength and this energy from, but all I can say is God. That's all I can say is God.
Well, I tell you
had it
what.
not been for Him.
Okay, I tell you what. We appreciate your call. We've got a few other callers, but have Lady J give her. In other words, if you talk to her and she'll talk to me, then because I like to hear this, because I've been I have some familiarity with law enforcement.
Oh yes, Lady J, I'll see you Monday, baby. I will see you Monday at 5:00. I love you guys.
All right, now I love you too.
Bye bye.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
Oh man.
I got another caller here. Let's see here. All right, welcome to. Welcome to Elevation Radio 1. How can we help you?
Hello?
Yes, you're on live on air.
Oh, yes. Hello. How are you today? Pastor Steve?
Yes, that's who I am.
All right. Well, this is Michelle Andrews, City Council nominee. Hi, Lady J. How you doing? Yes.
I am good.
Oh, Lord. What's going on?
Awesome. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm here at my job, though. My work.
Don't tell anybody that. Don't tell anybody that. Listen. Who is Michelle? Hold a second. Who is Michelle Andrews? I mean, what in the world? Who are you, ma'am?
Well, I am the nominee for Baltimore City Council 6th District.
Say what? Wow.
Yes,
tell us
you
more.
Didn't know?
I guess I didn't know, and I guess who are you running against?
Well, I'm running against Sharon Green Middleton.
Hold on a second.
Middle of the road, Middleton.
Lazy, do nothing. Man, she's been there for like 12 years of nothing.
She's been there a long time.
It feels like a half a century or more. Dinosaur.
She's so good at doing nothing that Barry Sanders said it was like a third world nation in Park Heights that she represents.
Oh, yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's so sad. It looked like our whole city looked like that under 70 years of Democratic ruling. So I've got plenty of pictures. The proof is in the pictures.
Well, I tell you, you got a Facebook page?
Yes, sir, I do. It's Michelle Andrews. Michelle Y. Andrews. That's my Facebook page.
Okay.
And my website is Yes, you did. And my website is also Michelle4Baltimore.com. I would love for everyone to come and see. It's Michelle 4 Baltimore.com. I would love for everyone to see what I have to offer there. Go ahead.
And we'll definitely talk to you again to talk to you about what you have to offer the citizens of Baltimore. But also, I understand that
Sharon
Green Middleton really said it. Who are you? You're no one. You're such a no one that to her that she doesn't want to debate you.
Well, wow. She said no one knows her, but I'll debate her. And she said she would debate me. Yes, she did. And then the very next day, she said no, she don't want to do it. And then I found out today her opponent, Toss Barksdale, that ran in the primaries, she wouldn't debate him either. Now,
no, she wouldn't.
Why would you turn down two people? And you've been running for 4 consecutive terms, and you don't have anything to say?
Wait a minute now. Hold on a second. Can we all say whom at the same time? 1, 2, 3.
Because the assumption is that she's already won. That's why.
Yeah.
So
we must retrain the brain.
We have to retrain the brain because what about 10 years ago? Money was given to Park Heights. Where is accountability? I don't see anything that has been to show for the money that was given to Park Heights.
Wait a minute, ma'am. You're out of control. You can't be talking about truths about these kind of things. We're in a live interview. So you can't cause trouble. For Christ's sake, we have Dr. McKenzie on the line.
I'm on a church radio show. So God wants us to tell the truth. Shame the devil. Tell the truth.
I just went in the background. Listen, we got to. We thank you for calling in, and hopefully we will have. What can you imagine, Sharon Green Middleton, on this program with you as a debate?
Wow, how about that? I don't know what we can imagine her anywhere. She won't talk. She won't show. I mean, I saw the signs they put out there. It's like everybody ganged up on one side, a little teeny side, So like you said, she feel like she don't have to do all that because she got it in the bag. And she taking us for granted. And that's a shame because we have gotten nothing out of 12 years. We only see people like that when it's time to vote or they want something, and then they gone again. And I know my city, I know my district deserves better than that.
So you got a point there. So it says here that when you have 14 methods of calming down your anxiety, it says you must give yourself a reality check.
Okay.
So the reality check would be that I'm tired of walking past vacant houses, having poverty, high crime, no lights on the street, and then I see, can I be honest, I see white folks come in once a year. Once a year to spread their money, and I got to hustle to park a car on the lawn to make a little change. While these dudes are spending thousands and hundreds of thousands, and they're making millions. And I can't get 4 mayors to agree on anything, but they can come together and go down to Annapolis and beg Uncle Sam or Sambo, can they please give us some money so we can keep Park Heights for Pimlico Racetrack open, please.
Do you know we were also offered free Wi-Fi, free internet for the whole city, and they refused that. You know why? Because they can't get nothing out of it. They can't get nothing out of free. So they don't want nobody to have nothing free.
Michelle Andrews, you are causing too much trouble on this here radio program. You have silenced Dr. McKenzie, and he's someone that likes to communicate and educate. So before there's any more danger and trouble, we will have you. We have to let you go, and we'll talk to you next week. Good God Almighty. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Hey, Lady J, I love you. You know we got to do a part. You know we got to do a part 2 now. We got to do a part 2.
Definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
In the call.
Awesome.
Hold on a second.
And I love you too, Pastor.
Yeah. You got Lady J. You got her for lunch. You didn't invite us for lunch.
I need you too. I need everyone to come out. I didn't know. I thought you just stayed on the radio, but I need you to come out into the community too.
I don't live on the radio.
I want everybody.
I don't live on the radio. My God, Mackenzie, tell us one. Wake up. Lord have mercy. I do. I am community. Especially Northwest.
I know.
All right,
that's
God
right.
Bless you now. God bless you.
God bless you both. Thank you.
Take care.
Michelle Andrew for Baltimore. Bye-bye.
All right now. Oh, my goodness. Co-echoing her. Hold on a second before I get back into this. Queen?
Yes.
What do you think about this whole scenario?
I'm just sitting back listening, observing.
Analyzing, huh? Okay. All right, I appreciate that. Dr. McKenzie, what's your opinion, sir?
Ooh, I tell you what, Baltimore City got some in my Ricky. What was it? What was his last name on the Lucy show?
Ricky Ricardo.
Lucy. Ricky Ricardo. You got some explaining to do, Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucy.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it is, this city, and I think all of us on here, we love our city. We love our city, and we want it to flourish and to do well. And we just want those who have been placed in the positions of leadership to do what it is that they say that they were going to do, but then to be held accountable and be transparent in what they're doing. And if you can't do that, then especially in this day and time and what we've been experiencing in 2020, I say you either get on board or you get left behind. Step aside and let those who are willing to lead, letting those that are willing to do the work and do what needs to be done to make our city better. You can step aside. You can do whatever else you want to do, but let those people who are willing to and ready to work go do the work and get this city back the way that it should be looking.
Well, if you don't want to, and that's these are true words. If you don't want to do that, then there is someone that can help you step aside, and she is the Office of Inspector General. Not play. Okay, and she'll be knocking on your door. Matter of fact, quite a few folks read it, according to Baltimore Sun, are under heavy investigation right at this moment, and it goes to the highest echelon of the city. And so many agencies that have so many criminal activities that I'm wondering if did you just go right to the Jessup? Did you import? I mean, stuff folks right from the criminal hierarchy of prison, because everybody's doing crime and stealing money, and it's just incredible. Retrain the brain. If the leaders do it, then I guess pretty much it spreads, and it becomes saturated, and the whole city from the top to the bottom is actually in darkness. We need light, and I think that the light. I'll just go on and I'll say the light from God, but he has to work through an agent on earth, and I think that the agent on earth is not going to be another Democratic candidate. It's not Bob Wallace. I'm going to go out and say it's Pastor Shannon Wright, from what I've actually experienced with her, and she's got. And I got to be honest, because I reviewed the tapes. She had Brandon Scott on the ropes.
Oh, definitely. Oh yeah. Definitely.
On the
ropes. Good God Almighty.
Can I say this real quick, Pastor?
Yes, you can, Doctor.
I was watching this. It was a YouTube. I believe it was Roland Martin, but he was talking with this guy. And he was interviewing this guy. And he was talking about Cory Booker. This was back when he was was he mayor of Newark? when he was in Newark, and he was walking through the neighborhoods, and he was, talking to people and everything like that, and the guy was saying that there was this elder lady that was in the neighborhood, and he was telling her, that he wanted to help and what could he do and everything like that, and she ignored him and just went back in her house and everything like that. So he saw her again, and same thing. He just really didn't. She didn't pay him any attention. So he encountered her another time again, and where our house was, and she said, come here, and she took him outside, took him in the middle of the street, and she said, what do you see? And so he's looking around, and he said he saw abandoned buildings, he saw trash, and he saw this. I mean, I was just like, oh, okay, that sounds like Baltimore to me, But and he said he wanted to help. He said, how can he help? She said, if the only thing that you see is negative or negativity or what what we see here, you can't help me. She wanted someone that could see what Newark could be and not what it was. And that's what Baltimore needs. It needs leadership that can see what Baltimore can be and what it should be, not what it is right now. And I thought that was a compelling story to tell, and for her to say, you can't help me because you can't see my vision, the vision I have. You aren't even trying to put it into place.
That's
I
heavy.
was just like, wow.
That's heavy.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
That's heavy. Matter of fact,
I said, wow.
Thank you, sir. I was asking God for a story and I couldn't find one. He was probably telling me, you'll get one, but you ain't going to tell it. Thank you, sir. You love having to, I think. And so I wanted to say that we still haven't got to, we got so much to get to about how you got to be partner of Worldwide FLAVA. And I'm going to get right there in 1 second. I want to ask you a question or make a statement. This is very serious about these toxicity because I have higher educated guests and co-hosts today. I must use higher level vocabulary. Toxicity. A woman, it says here, and this is very serious now, a woman is battered in the United States every 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about. Domestic violence occurs 25 to 33%. Especially in same-sex relationships. I'm no fan of same-sex, but I mean, if you're going to go to the other side, why would you do that anyway? But I mean, if you're going to get beat up and abused, I mean, stay on your side. Domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women ages 15 to 44 in the U.S. It is more than accidents, more than muggings. Robberies, more than rapes, and check this out: it's more than all of them combined.
Wow.
So toxicity is a pattern of behavior to gain control over another by physical, sexual, emotional, or economic abuse, and 31% of women report physical abuse. And before I forget, and to go back to you, Lady J, I want to say that, let's see here, next week we'll have CEO Cheryl Rockett of the sit-in, I think it's sit-in to the South campaign will be here, and her crew taking over the airwaves. It's going to be awesome. Owner of Worldwide FLAVA, and Worldwide FLAVA is what?
Worldwide FLAVA is a radio station, and it's a radio station. But because of social media, we're able to go live over social media as well as be on radio at the same time. So that's a plus. But basically, it is a radio station, a physical station, beautiful station. I think Leroy's been there.
He's been everywhere.
Physical station the physical station is in Baltimore, in Baltimore. And so, but what I was saying on Pastor Steve is that last year, I actually worked in the medical field for 25 years. I was a supervisor, and then I became a district manager for the Red Cross second time around. And so last year, I did a vision board in January because God was really working with me during my stroke and just really showing me that there was something else that he wanted me to do, and it had nothing to do with the medical field. But I was so busy running after the dollars when I was working in the medical field that I was ignoring him. So not being able to work, being on disability from 2015 actually up until now, but during that time, he was telling me what he wanted me to do. And I remember last year in January, I did a vision board, and I put on the vision board that I knew that God was taking me to another level, and I knew that I was supposed to speak to the masses, but I didn't know how to do it. And so I kept thinking about podcasts, and every time I would ask somebody, like, how do you do a podcast, they hemmed and hawed, and I could never get it. So my sister's giving me this trip. We do a girls trip, sister's trip, last year to the Stellar Awards. So I'm being my usual me. I'm walking around at the Stellar Awards, talking to people, doing Facebook Live and all of that. And I bump into this guy who's doing a promo, and we started talking. And he said to me, what station do you work for? What station are you with? Because I didn't realize, I'm down there with reporters and stuff. I'm just being me. And so I said, no, I'm just here. And he was like, well, we're getting ready to go. We're the press. We're getting ready to go back here. They're interviewing the stars and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, well, who are you? And so he started saying who he was. I said, oh, my goodness, I'm almost a celebrity. Let me interview you. And so we laughed it up. We joked. And then when he walked off, he said, wait a minute. Let me go get the owner of the station. So this owner, her physical station was in Phoenix, Arizona. They have another one in Pennsylvania. I forgot what part. But anyway, so he goes and he gets her, and we start talking. And she's like, wow, you need to have your own show. Have you ever thought about radio? And I'm like, nah, I work in the medical field. So she said, let's talk tomorrow. So, you thinking you at the Stellars and people like, let's talk. I'm going to give you a call. You like, yeah, right. They both called me the next day. We were on the phone for like an hour and a half. By the time they had called me, they had the name of the show that they wanted me to do. They had offered me the show. They told me how I was going to do the show. I did the show from my home because I was like, how am I going to do this? He said, don't worry about it. We stream everybody in. And so they offered me a show right there in Vegas. So that was in March of last year. So for that was like the last 3 days of March. So the whole month of April, they trained me over the phone. They told me what I needed, what equipment I needed. I went out and got it. And then my show starts on May 2nd. God told me to
what was the name of the
talk show because it was called Sister Circle Praise on Praise FM. And it was every Thursday from 8 to 9 o'clock. And so God told me not to be on everybody else on the station because it was a religious station. They was preaching and all of that. And so I said to the lady, I'm not a preacher. I said, but, can I do like a talk show? She said, girl, do whatever you want. I'm giving you free reign. Now, this woman ain't know me from a can of paint. So she lets me come on. And when I tell you the ratings just blew up, everybody's tuning in to Sister Circle Praise because I'm talking about everything. I'm bringing people on, streaming people in. And by the time 2019 was out, I had 4 shows. And the Now Network had called me. So I was on the Now Network. I was doing life and spiritual coaching on the Now Network because they had seen one of my shows, the Sister Circle Praise shows.
Hold a second. The Now Network, that's like a TV network, huh?
Yeah, it's right up there with the Word Network and Impact and all of that.
So you are a big time mega media mogul person. That's all right.
Well, I don't think.
Everybody clap your hands.
I don't think so, but
clap your hands, everybody.
I don't think so. But Michelle and I, we were traveling in the same circle, had never met each other. We heard about each other, and then we ended up being on somebody's show together. And so afterwards, she was like, "Well, can I get you to come on my show?" And I was so booked. This was last year. I was so booked that I couldn't go to Michelle's show until March of this year. So I go to her show, and mind you, I'm sitting there, we're talking. The whole time I'm thinking it's her show. So at the end of the show, I was like, oh, so I said, do you do any other shows? And we're talking. She's like, I'm the owner of the station. And I was like, wow. So I'm looking around like I'm really impressed, And so we started talking, and her business partners had just pulled out. And so she said, you know what? She said, I hate to ask you this on the spot. She's like, well, have you ever thought about partnership? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And the thing about it, I was annoyed because my son had the car. I wanted to go home, and he was late picking me up. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, man, you know, I really don't feel like talking right now. And so we started talking more and more, and I told her I was going to go home and pray about it. And when I went home and prayed about it, God was really impressing me to go for it because it would give me an opportunity to step out of just doing, you know, being on religious programming, and then you're kind of locked into what you can talk about, what you can say. And so I went back, and I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And so I went into partnership with Michelle in May of this year, May 1st of this year. I went into partnership with her. And when I tell you God has grown that station from when I got there, I think it was like 2 shows. And God has just grown the station, like really put the station on the map. And I'm grateful to her for even looking at me and thinking, you know, I want to go into partnership with this person, but it's been amazing. And so I've been nonstop since then, just nonstop.
Well, let me ask you a question. What some people are, because your story is frankly incredible. It's a story of faith. And I want to ask you, what the heck is Lady J? What does that mean?
Well, here's the thing. Let me tell you what Lady J is. When I got sick, I didn't tell you this part. When I had the stroke, I wasn't able to really communicate with people. And I was determined while I was in the hospital that even though I couldn't comb my hair and I couldn't, like, do my makeup and all that kind of stuff, Pastor Steve, I would get up and I would tell those nurses, don't come and help me. So I would get up like about 5 in the morning because I knew I had physical therapy and stuff. And I had one of my friends buy me this little wig and everything. I put the wig on, and I would take my time because I said I'm going to bathe myself. I'm going to do all of this for myself. Then I would have worship, and then I would find at least one person. When I realized that I could talk into my phone, I would talk into my phone, and I would just say, like, I would say something like, hey, Pastor Steve, this is Charlene, just wanted to wish you a good day. Now, you probably couldn't understand what I was saying, but I was determined that I was going to show Satan that I'm going to get my voice back. So I started doing that. The voicemails that I would send, people would send them to other people. And it turned into this thing where when I learned how to write again, I started texting. Now I have about 400 women that I minister to every single day. It's Sister Circle. So they started calling me Lady J. They were calling me Lady CJ. That's what they were calling me. And so when I was put on the spot last year, when I was in Vegas, and the lady was like, we got to get you a radio name. And she said, think of a radio name. And so on the spot, I was like, you know what? Let's do Lady J, you know, and it just stuck. And she's like, okay, we're going to do Lady J. So they started advertising me as Lady J, and it just stuck. But that's where it came from, because the lady started calling me Lady J.
Let me say this, that in the few places that I've been to, in the higher circles that I've been allowed to hang in, and Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. didn't have anything to do with it. I have my own circles that I was allowed to be in, because he travels in the upper echelon of society, red carpet style. Mm-hmm. I was in the political circle, and so several different occasions when you came in, I didn't know you came in until I heard the whispering, the hush. You know, things are going on, and so it was like hush. I said, what's going on? Lady J, spread the word, Lady J. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Quiet, for Lady J has entered the building. And I'm like, she entered the room. I'm like, well, so that's why I think when I asked you for your card, I had already been there somewhere the night before, somewhere or the other time, and I heard, I saw how they ran behind you and bowed before you and opened the doors, and she was actually Pastor Wright was in a room talking on an interview, and no one but higher echelon. We were, us regular folk were thrust in the outer circle, and so you came in late. Hold on a second. No. You came in late. We had been there before.
I did.
Came in late.
Yep.
And
I did.
came in, had glamour and glitz and all that, and so finally at some point somebody says, DJ, and just open the door and let you walk right into the room. And so I was like, I said, ain't that something? So, but when I saw at the last thing where they had, where it came in, and then the facilitator, walk with you and start talking. You came late to that one, and then they walk with you and they stopped everything. They say, and do you want to play food, Lady J? Do you want this, Lady J? And I'm like, okay. So he was passing by. I said, hey, excuse me a second. I don't mean to bother you. Excuse me, I'm just a regular guy, a commoner. But may I have a business card? Would that be acceptable? And you said the Hollywood style. I don't have it in my. I think you said I have one left. Because I've given out a multiplicity of cards. I've got one left, and I'm going to my car because I need to get some more things because I've been so busy today. I was like, okay, she's really Hollywood. Gold sour.
It's like, and it's no joke. Like yesterday, I had 3 different engagements, like back to back, that I had to go to. And when I got in last night, it was probably about 10 o'clock after being gone all day. So
it's incredible.
It's just like, I feel like God has this is the real thing about all of this, is that God has allowed me to talk to these people that I watch on TV. I've had some of them in my home, and at the end of every conversation, I pray with them. I always ask them, can I pray with you? Because I want them to know that I'm not just here getting an interview or trying to get ratings. Like, I genuinely care, and I want to make sure you're good. Sheila Dixon, every now and then I'll text her, and I'm like, I hope you're good, just thinking about you. Jill Carter, just thinking about you. I have these people's phone numbers, which is crazy.
I saw you. I got a picture of you. Got a picture with Jill Carter.
The picture with Jill Carter, she was in my house. That was my house.
Well, she was posted up.
She was in my house.
Yeah. She was posted up, kind of like gangster style, actually.
We had a good conversation. We had a really good conversation. Now, because this is the thing, I trust God in every single thing that I do. And when I came over to Worldwide FLAVA Network, the one thing I said to Michelle is that God gave me 2 shows. These shows have to come with me. One of them was What Up Baltimore. The other one was, Baltimore's Entrepreneurs. Now, I was in my kitchen cleaning up, and God told me to stop. This was in the early part of December 2019. God told me, stop. Go in your room, and I need you to write this stuff down. So I'm writing down the What Up Baltimore. I'm writing down who's going to be my partner doing the show with me. And when it's now, mind you, I don't know. At the time, I didn't know nothing really about politics because I didn't dibble and dabble in it like that. But so I do this first show, and I'm laying across my bed, Pastor Steve, laying across the bed. I'm talking to people like, I'm gonna do this show called What Up Baltimore, so everybody can vent because we got a lot of crime and stuff going on in the city. And people were just like flowing in on the timeline. And so I got walking through Columbia Mall, a politician calls me. And he's like, hey, I was watching your show, What Up Baltimore, how do I get on there? Who do I need to talk to? I took a seat because I'm like, hello? So I'm sitting down and I'm trying to find a piece of paper, and I'm putting the phone on mute, yelling at my son, give me a piece of paper. So I get the paper, and I'm writing everything down. He comes on, and that show, we had about like 10,000 views on there. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to dress up for this. And so after a while, the show just hit, and you see it now. It just hit like wildfire, What Up Baltimore. And at this point, I don't call anybody for shows. They call me. So I say that show came from God. I mean, and it turned into, I didn't know what it was supposed to be about, but it turned into a show where it strictly deals with politics, politicians, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And now I see that God gave me that show because I've been able to talk to these people, mingle with them, shake their hands, and have prayer with them and tell them about who God is.
You didn't say prayer.
The Baltimore. Oh, yeah, I pray with them.
Wait a minute now. You can't. There's a separation. There is a distinct separation of church and state. You can't do that, ma'am. You can't minister.
They know
to
that
people
Lady
who are
J. I tell them very quickly. Lady J is a woman of faith, and after I do these interviews, I say, "Can I pray with you? Is it okay?" They're, "Oh, sure. Pray with me." I've prayed with them, talked to them. Like I said, sent them messages. And God is blessed because I formed friendships with them. And they confided in me about stuff, you know, that I won't ever talk to anybody about. And then the What a Baltimore show, I do that show where I give back to people because the lady gave me a chance. She didn't know who I was. You know, she lives in Phoenix, I'm in Baltimore. It was a chance encounter. But she gave me an opportunity. So on my What a Baltimore show, every Tuesday, somebody gets to sit there for an hour and talk about what they're doing. You're an entrepreneur, come on the show, talk about what you're doing. Tell people how to reach you, how they can help you. And so that show has taken off, and it was people call from all over for that.
Well, let me ask you a question. If folks want to be on your show, on your programs, what number can they call?
They can call me. They can call 443-741-6492.
Can you say again?
And people say, why do you 443-741-6492.
Okay.
That's my personal number.
Oh, the number to the VIP is yourself. Let me ask you this question. This is a very important question. The future of our relationships here will depend upon the answer that you're going to give. Has Dr. McKenzie been on your shows?
He has been on my show.
That's it.
And I've been on his show too. Yeah, I've been on his show too.
Okay.
Let me tell you how he came on my show, Pastor.
Let me make him acknowledge this first. First of all, are you still there, sir?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, so
Leroy was attacking me. Let me tell you, this is what Leroy was going right.
Put him out.
We have a show that comes on. It's called 108 Live. It's a men's organization, and they talk about men's stuff. So this one night, they're talking about relationships, and I'm sitting there. My son is engineering the show, but I was sitting next to my son, and so Leroy, you know, they're talking about men and women and stuff like that, and I'm chiming in saying what I wanted to say about men, and Leroy switches from talking to the host of the show. He's talking to me, and I was like, oh, no. I said, you know what, Leroy, you got to come on my show. You're going to have to come on my show and sit on the chair. And I said, and then you and I are going to have it out.
Did you straighten him out, Lady J? He need to be straightened out.
I sure did.
Did you straighten him out?
I sure did. And Leroy said, okay. I said, don't be scared. He said, I ain't scared. I'll come on. And he came on. On. But that's how Leroy that's how he got on my show.
Yeah, he's a bold little peanut. I tell you, incredible. Wait a minute, hold a second, lady Queen. Is the Queen still there? Queen?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. What do you think about Dr. McKenzie's behavior?
She did great, honey.
No, sweetheart. You love everybody. I'm talking about his performance being difficult with Lady J before she met him.
Before.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's see here. As we have to wrap this up here. I think we've been here too long. Dr. McKenzie, give us your information, sir.
Oh, well, I mean, people can reach out to me at, they can check us out on the website, www.jnfenterprises.com. They can go on Facebook, JNF Enterprises LLC, and also on YouTube, JNF Enterprises. Everything is at is JNF Enterprises. Instagram is at JNF Enterprises. Twitter at JNF Enterprises 1.
Oh, okay. Were you doing a Barry White there the last second? 1.
No, sir, not at all. My voice ain't that deep.
Yeah. My name is Johnny McKenzie Jr. Okay, Queen, you got anything to say? Other than you love God and you love your husband?
Yes, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed listening to you. And lady, tell me your name again.
Lady J. Oh my God, really? I only said it like 100 times.
I know. I'm so
Dear
hoarse
God
right now.
in
You're trying to get me to talk. I'm trying not to talk because I lost my voice.
I understand. Well, she lost her voice too, so she got it back by constant faith in God. It's going to happen for her. Well, it's still sweet to me. Sound like a preacher. Well, thank you for that. Let's see, Lady J, do you have any closing words before I close it out?
No, I don't. Believe it or not, I don't.
Well, that's
but I want to say thank you for having me on. I know that is a first, right? That's what people say. That's the first. People don't even know that they see me talking and laughing. I'm actually a very quiet person. I'm a very quiet person. I could be in the house and you don't even know I'm there. That's me. So I'm sitting in this recliner. I'm just relaxing. I'm enjoying the conversation. But thank you for having me on the show. It's been great. Well,
so it means at some point we can get an endorsement from Lady J about Elevation Radio 1. This is fantastic. We're just moving up in the world. So let me say again that the CEO, Cheryl Crockett, will be on this program, and her corporation of advocates next Saturday. And let me go through the horn. If you want the best organist, one of the best organists in Baltimore City, to play for your event or whatever, gospel event, community event, then call us at 1-302-2727. That would be Praise Unlimited Ministries Incorporated, and that would be the on-call organist, which I hear he's a very fine young fella. I know him well. Okay. And yes, if you want a soloist, you can also call that same number, and he will come out and deliver unto you a song of joy. Matter of fact, speaking of songs, before I leave here, and I understand doing deep investigation that you sang as well.
I am a singer. People know me as Lady. They know me as Lady J, but I'm actually that's new to me. I'm a singer. Yeah.
And so I think
Pastor Steve, listen, I have an idea. Okay.
I know what you're trying to do. You cut me off because you don't want me to ask you about singing. Yeah,
no. I don't mind singing, but I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
This is
you want Dr. McKenzie to sing?
Well, I don't know if he can sing or not, but he can join in if he wants to.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. he said not today. Okay. So, Pastor Steve, I think we should collaborate and do something where we do just a praise and worship, maybe a 30-minute praise and worship show.
Women are careful because I love praise and worship.
Oh yeah, me too.
You're starting to mess with me now because when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that He's done for me, my soul cries out, "Hallelujah! I thank God for saving me." Put your hands together and give Him praise, and give Him some more praise. Yeah. That's so. Yeah. How will we do that? I guess
think, well, we can talk, because actually in my brain I'm always creating shows all the time, so don't mind me. But I've actually been trying to create a show, like a 30-minute show, 40-minute or something, in the studio, because our studio is big enough because we got all the equipment there, and we do a praise and worship service. And that's because of COVID. Give the people some praise. And just let them join in and do that, and that could be a show, and I'm sure people will really enjoy it.
Well, let me ask you a question, because now you're causing the crazy intellect to start working. Put my hands going. Good God Almighty! Let me ask you a question. Do you have a Hammond B3 there in the studio?
I do not have a Hammond. I don't have a Hammond, so we need a. You know what? And you're absolutely correct. We need a Hammond. We need an organ. I'm gonna have to check it out, because I know there's one at my uncle's church, and I have to find out how we can actually get in his church, or maybe somebody's church, to do that.
And film it. Matter of fact, if you got a drum set, I may have a drummer for you.
Yeah. Well, we can just. I just think it would be a good thing. I tell everybody with what they're doing now, and whatever we can do to help uplift people, that's what we should be doing. Because people are going. You talked about abuse. Abuse is on the rise now because of COVID, and people are home. Children are being abused more than ever. And so it's a time where I feel like people need some relief. They need to be relieved of the stress that they're under. Music does that, especially for Black people. Music does that.
Matter of fact, I think it's in not theology. It's because the arts, it says music has charms to soothe the savage beast.
That's the savage beast. That's right.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Dr. McKenzie?
No, that sounds like a phenomenal idea. I love that. I think it would. I think it would be. I think it would be an awesome show, and I think it's like you all have been saying. I think it's something that the people need right now.
Would you come and film it?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
all I have to do is get a date.
Yeah, and I'm sure he can make some commentary and do the instructions. That's great. It says a threefold board. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, on that note, you want to sing us out?
I'm trying to think. What can I sing? I was sitting here trying to think of what I can sing. Oh man.
What a friend.
Say that again, Pastor Steve.
What a friend.
What a friend we have in Jesus. Is that what you said?
That's a possibility. Or I feel like going on. I don't know.
I feel like going on. I feel like going on.
Though trials
come on every hand, I feel like going on. All right, Pastor Steve.
Oh.
I thought she was in the background getting the keyboard together.
I can't move from this office to the studio where the keyboard is.
Okay.
But I can since you challenged me, I will say, I feel like going on. I feel like going on. Though trials come on every hand, I feel like going on.
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
I hear
right.
verses. I hear verses coming up. I hear verses. Lady J versus the music man. Uh-oh.
Do I
Who you got?
I gotta go at
Who
it?
you got?
Y'all people's are crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hold on a second.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Well, we've had a great time, and I'm hoping that this program will inspire and encourage and help some folks thinking, because when you have to go back and face your dark reality, not all of us have the strength to endure, but with God, all things are possible. And so we cannot change what we have done, but we can change our now going into our future. And so just asking you to think of the testimony that you heard today from Charlene, Lady J. Jenkins. And remember that you can make it. God has provided you the opportunity to be successful. And don't let anyone talk to you and talk down to you and decrease your value, decrease your worth. You are valuable. You are important because you're made in the image of God. And you deserve better than to be in a toxic relationship. Good God Almighty.
Amen.
And on that note, this has been another Elevation Radio One Moment. God bless you. Hit us up on Facebook, like us, join the group, and keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Again, thank you, Lady J, Dr. Charlene Jenkins, and Professor.
Thank you so much, Pastor Steve.
Oh, it's no problem. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming down from heavens to bless us. and it even caused Dr. Kenzie to come on air. It's just incredible. Great things happen when you deal with great people. That's what I discovered. And yes, indeed. So I look forward to talk with you and being on your programs.
Yes, you will hear from me.
And that's fantastic. And I've sent the information for the upcoming event you have for the Girls Network. What was it again?
You mean Girl Chat?
Girl Chat, that's it.
Yes, Girl Chat is on Thursday night from 8 to 9 o'clock. 9 to 10 o'clock on WWFN. You can go to www.worldwideflava, and Flava is worldwideflavanetwork.com. And that'll take you to our shows, and we're also on the radio. Monday, I'm actually doing a show. We're doing a part 2 show where it's called Checking In with the Kids, because I did a show on kids and COVID. So I have children that will be coming on talking about how they're coping with COVID. They'll be coming on Monday night from 8 to 9. And then we got a whole bunch of other shows coming on.
All right. Well, just moving up. Fantastic. And so we thank you, and God bless you. And again, keep your heads up, keep your heads up, keep your heads up.
Amen. Amen.